I'm going to start a Pokemon card business in 2025, and I think that you should do it too. Hey, what's going on? I'm PokeBri. My name is Brian. This is going to be my first video on this channel of me talking about my journey starting a Pokemon card business. So if you just love Pokemon, or you are also interested in wanting to start a Pokemon card business, then this content may be for you also. So a little bit about myself. I actually work full-time currently right now, and I also own my own media agency on the side, so I am a very busy person. Sorry, you're probably going to see my dog here because she just wants all the attention in the world. Can you sit in the camera? Okay. Anyway, so for myself, I have always loved Pokemon cards. I have been opening and ripping packs since 1998. I remember my very... What's going on? You good? I remember my very first pack from... I remember my very first pack from 1999. I was walking around in the mall. Now, again, I lived in the Pacific Northwest up in Seattle. We were at the Alderwood Mall, and my dad got me my first pack of Pokemon cards, and I think I can almost remember the very first cards in that pack. I know it had like an Onix, there's a Vulpix in there, there was a couple of trainer cards, a Rattata, there was a Pikachu, but my very first holo I ever pulled was in that pack, and my very first pack, and it was a Mewtwo. So ever since then, I've been hooked. I've taken a couple breaks from Pokemon since then, like I think from the mid-era, I definitely was like really hype into it from 99 until about 2000, 2001. Took a break because, you know, just life and me just kind of growing out of it as a kid from until about 2013 when my wife and I got married and she loved Pokemon cards. And I remember there was one time where we almost spent our entire tax return on booster boxes. That was like Evolutions and XY, Black and White, that whole era. So we jumped back in then, and probably for a good 2-3 years we were collecting. Took another break during the Sun and Moon era. Recently came back. My wife and I had a night in the city one time, and I was like, hey, let's go pick up an ETB like the old days. And we picked up an ETB, and I think we pulled like a Lugia Rainbow Art or something crazy like that. But since then, we've been hooked, and so I've been back into it for the past, couple of years now, and pretty much just rebuilding up the collection. I actually have a dream to open up a brick and mortar one day. I love just like tabletop games in general. So I'm kind of like a nerd at heart, but Pokemon cards have always been like one of the central things that I love so much, and my wife as well. So anyways, let's talk about the business itself. How am I going to start it? What's my plan? I've done so much research on how to do this. I think there's a few routes that I feel good about going down. So one, again, even though I have a full-time job, even though I have a whole nother side hustle that's bringing in income, I want to start this business completely from scratch. And the only amount of capital I'm going to start with is my own personal collection and $500. I'm not like one of those guys that's got like $10,000 or even $1,000 that I want to start with. Even though I could, I just feel like I really want to start this from scratch because I know most people aren't going to have that kind of money laying around. Most people will just have a binder full of cards, and really, even though I could start the business off strong and buy collections and buy a bunch of sealed, I really want to start more from scratch and be able to go on the journey with other people who may be in the same boat. So I've looked at a handful of other content creators here on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and really the ones I feel like spoke to me the most have been Nostalgianomics, PokeAny, and Mystic Rips. They all kind of hit a different kind of niche in their own industries, and I feel like I kind of wanted to be able to pull from all of them and learn from all of them as much as I could. So really, again, looking into selling singles, slabs, sealed, Japanese sealed, and pretty much wheeling and dealing as much as I can. I've actually already started a few days before this video by selling singles, so I'll kind of walk through all the things I've done so far and the things I'm currently going to do in the first month of starting this business. First thing I did was I had to just get over the fear of starting and in thinking how much time it's going to take me, how I'm going to do it right. I'm very much the kind of person who wants everything to be lined up. Do I have a plan? Do I have a backup plan? Do I have an exit strategy? I put together my entire binder of cards I want to sell. And then I also here's a caveat with everything. So my personal collection is also technically my wife's personal collection. Everything in me is just like, let me just sell everything so I can just have a bunch of capital starting out. But because it's also her collection, she wants to make sure that we keep everything that we have at least a single copy of. So for example, I have a Moonbryon in raw that I could sell. Cards like that are higher value. The only way that I can though is going to be in one of the ways I plan to kickstart this business. So right now I have all the singles put together, put in a binder, and I actually put a bunch up on my eBay page a few days ago, and since then I've already made about a few $100s, and that was just off of like maybe 7 to 10 higher value cards, and I have a bunch of lower value cards in there too. So the fact that I was able to get everything up in a day, I think I made maybe $150 in the first day. It was such a good motivation for me to want to start this business. Obviously, eBay takes lots of fees. I would love to go the route of building my own website. I actually am in the process of doing that now. But the way that obviously to do that effectively, because no one's going to know your website exists unless you have a platform to promote it on. So I'm over on TikTok as well. I'm starting this YouTube channel here to help build my brand so you guys know who I am, that I'm a trustworthy person, that I am chill and really not just do business, but create a community of people who love Pokemon cards, who love the idea of just hustling and diving into this fun world of trading cards and churning and burning. Now, I did mention again that I can't sell anything from my personal collection if I don't have a duplicate of it. The only way around that I am doing is that I will examine the quality of the cards, and if I feel like I can get a PSA 10, then I will submit it to PSA and hopefully flip the card, rebuy the card for the personal collection, and basically invest the profit back into the business. So again, that's more of a risky way of doing it because obviously it's money out of the Pokebucks account for the business to possibly get something that won't come back the result you want. So I did send 3 cards out. I sent out the Charizard SIR, Paldean Fates, and I also sent out the Ceruledge and the Latios from Surging Sparks. Now again, it's risky for me to think I'm going to get 10s out of them, but again, it's just another way to diversify how I'm trying to make income starting this business. One thing I know in this industry is that margins are very low, so I'm keeping mind of that, and again, trying different things to see what is going to be the most profit for myself. And of course, that brings to the next step is getting into Whatnot Stream. Basically, what I'm looking at is I've looked at 2 different routes. I'm going to take whatever capital I have and either invest some of it into sealed to sit on, go Japanese sealed, or buying out collections and then putting them on Whatnot. All different things I'm trying out. I don't really have like a strategy of what has worked best for me yet, but I am trying all of those different things. And once again, each week I'll give you guys updates on how that week was in terms of the business and what I did different that week and everything that I'm trying. Ultimately, the goal is I want to, by the end of 2025, is look back and see, did I turn this into a viable stream of income? I'd have to figure out a pretty intense strategy to be able to create profit within a market like this, especially when you have sets coming out this year like Prismatic and Journey Together, Black and White, and Team Rockets, all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting, which is why this challenge is going to be so interesting and fun for me. I'd love for you guys to follow along my journey with me. I actually posted a video on my TikTok page the other day of me wanting to start a Pokemon card business. And I had people on there commenting back being like, man, I've been thinking about this too. I don't know where to start. Other people saying the information I provided was super valuable. So I feel like I want to be able to have this channel as a place to follow my journey and also create just fun Pokemon card content. So you'll see maybe some business stuff along with cracking packs or anything. So it'll be a little bit of a combobulation of different kinds of Pokemon content, but I really want to center it around growing this brand that is PokeBri with my love for Pokemon cards and Pokemon in general. So anyways, like, subscribe. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.